We're going to be talking about 7 reasons why contractors are overwhelmed. I know this so well myself, and most of my clients and people I talk to, they've got a million and one things to do. So I'm going to be sharing with you the 7 reasons why you're overwhelmed and what to do about it. And for each one of these, I'm going to give you one practical piece of advice for you to get done. So make sure you do every one of these 7. All right, so number 1, working hour expectations. So one of the reasons why you may be overwhelmed, why I got overwhelmed, was I thought I had to be on all the time. You want that 5-star Google review, you want amazing, client praises from all your clients. So what do? You answer the phone on weekends, you answer it after hours, you answer it early in the morning, you reply to emails any time of the day. So set your working hour expectations. And the one piece of advice I have for this is you need to start a document called What to Expect During Construction, or What to Expect. And it's simply a Word document that you give to your client before you start a project. And it just outlines certain specific things, one of them being your working hours and expectations. So working hours, 7:30 to 5:30. We will probably not answer the phone or reply to emails beyond those times. If it's an emergency, this is how to contact us, or this is who to call. If it's not urgent, then please get to us the next day. So that's the first one. Take stock of these and do one per day. Get all 7 of these done. Of course, I've got templates and stuff on all these. So if you really need help with this, make sure you reach out. Links in the description to connect. But that's the first one. The second one is low margins. Well, low margins means you're probably not making too much money or as much money as you want. Hence, you're working more than you should or more than you want to. Often the reason you're working so hard and so overwhelmed is because you want to make money, because you don't feel financially secure, or your margins are too low, so you're selling too many jobs and you're doing too much work for not enough profits. Most of the time, contractors don't even kind of register that their margins are low. I'd say about 80 to 90% of contractors that I talk to, when I ask them, how do you feel about your pricing? Do you feel it's low, medium, or on the high side? 80 to 90% say we're either on the high side or kind of mid to high. So don't be afraid to raise your prices a bit. But more importantly, this is the action step takeaway for point number 2 here. The action step takeaway is go visit your books and check your overhead. What was your overhead in the last 12 months? And if you cannot pinpoint that information within a few minutes, you need to learn how to get organized and figure out your overhead. So that's your action point. If you can know your overhead quickly and you understand, this is my overhead in the last 12 months, divide that by the revenue that you had. So if you did $1 million in revenue, your overhead is 100,000. That's 10%. If you're only charging markup of 15%, well, 10% of that is overhead. You've got 5% markup, which is very thin. Hopefully you're charging for your project management time and your time, because if you're not, you're living off that 5%. Low margins is the second one that you need to solve. If any of these jump out at you or you want more information, love to hear your comments. Just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 3 is fear of delegation. Some people love it, some people hate it, but fear of delegation. You're probably good at delegating to your site guys who are, hammering the boards together, or installing the trim, or running the wires, or whatever. But you have a fear of delegating administration, fear of delegating, maybe the bookkeeping or invoicing or estimating. Estimating is probably one of the easier parts of a construction business to delegate, actually, because it's all numbers. Once you have a good process, you have databases, as long as someone understands, has a basic understanding of construction. Often this fear comes because we have a process in our heads, but we don't have one on paper. We haven't created a process. So fear of delegation is definitely holding you back, and also what's creating your overwhelm. Now, there's also an issue where you're delegating too early, but often it's a fear of delegating because you don't have a great system in place. The action takeaway from this is start a list. So you maybe have a to-do list already, or place that you have a list, but have delegate this list. So as you're going through your tasks this week, whenever you're doing something that seems easy or repetitive, or you simply just don't want to do it anymore, put it on your delegate this list, and sooner or later you're going to have a big list of 20, 50 different items that you want to delegate. Now you can look through okay, these 20 are all administration. It would probably be about 5 hours per week to take care of this. I should hire a part-time, admin person, a secretary. Creating that list will be that first initial step to actually realize what you should be delegating or can delegate. Make sure you're getting all these done. Do one of these per week. These are small little things. Number 4, firefighting. picking up the phone, putting out fires. This person's got that problem. This person's got that problem. Thinking everything is urgent, everything is important. There's a lot of firefighting things that come in. You're going to get calls from your site crew, from your foreman, from your project manager, from your client, from your designer, whoever. They're going to feel it's urgent, but you need to put on your hat and just ask them like maybe some introspective questions and help them kind of guide them to the answer, or realize that if you're putting out the same fire day in and day out, that you need to create a system or communicate to your project manager, wait until the end of the day and kind of bring everything to me at one time, or let me know on our check-in meeting in the morning or whatever. But figure out a system and communicate that so that you're not having to put fires out all the time. Now, what to expect document I mentioned the first one with clients is huge, because you can take care of a lot of the big expectations of clients and communicate to them how they should communicate with you so that they're not calling you to firefight. So the big action takeaway for this one, for number 4, firefighting, is again, prioritize what you need to get done in a day. So what's the big priority today? Pick out one thing and make sure you get that thing done. Number 5, not asking for help. Often we are the superman, superwoman in your business, and you are not used to asking for help. I'm notoriously bad for this. I'm very self-directed, self-sufficient, and I don't like to ask for help. I like to try things on my own first to see if I can do them. But asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Keep telling yourself that, because you do need to believe it. It is true. And if you are overwhelmed, or there's things in your business that aren't working, or you need help with stuff, ask for help. Could be a spouse, could be your employees, could be your business advisor, whatever you think is appropriate. But don't be afraid to ask for help. But generally speaking, people around you that care about you, they want to help you. So don't be afraid to ask for it. The action point on this one is drop a comment below. Just drop a comment below of something that you wish you could get more help with. The purpose of that is just to get in the habit of being okay asking for help, and I'll be happy to respond to them, or maybe even provide you some resources, or it gives me ideas for future videos. Drop a comment now. I'll take a minute. Go ahead. All right. Number 6, to-do list management. To-do list is great, but you should not be scheduling from your to-do list. If you are just creating a to-do list, like these are all the things I need to get done, and you keep dumping them on your to-do list, as you know, it's just going to pile up. You're going to feel more stressed, more overwhelmed, because it's like, I have all this stuff I need to get done, all these to-do list items. So be organizing your to-do list, but make sure that you're time blocking. Block out some of your schedule to do specific things. So get the big ones, the important things, off of your to-do list and put them into your schedule, because if they're in your schedule, at least you've created some time for it. And keep that appointment with yourself like you would keep it with like $1 million client that's like wanting to build a house with you, or a big contractor that wants to hire you for a job. Keep that appointment like your life depends on it, because hey, your business does, and the lives and everybody around you depends on that as well. The action point on this is very simple. What's something right now you know you should be doing but haven't, or something that's been on your to-do list for a while that just isn't getting done because it's important but it's not urgent? Take that thing, find a day this week, next week, put an hour, 2 hours, just put some time in. If you're too stressed out and too overworked that you can't even find an hour, put in 30 minutes one day and just get it started, and then make it a reoccurring time block for the next 4 weeks or whatever you need. So number 7 is a lack of planning. So again, one of the reasons you probably feel overwhelmed in your business is a lack of planning. So take some time to really plan out your day, your week, your month, and your year. So most people are pretty good at the yearly one. Even if you don't have anything on paper, you're probably like, I want to grow this year. Maybe I want to hire 3 more people, or getting a project manager is a big part of it this year. Take 5, 10, 15 minutes. I never start a day without taking at least 10 to 15 minutes to figure out what am I doing that day. We've all got 24 hours in a day, and you probably have, depending how many you're working, but it could be 8, 10, 12, 14 hours of work that you're going to be doing this day. Why not take 10 minutes to make sure that work is prioritized, that it's focused, that you have a plan for it? Otherwise, you're wasting so much time and you're going to be very ineffective, and you're going to feel overwhelmed because you have all this stuff to do and you have no organization, you have no steps, nothing. 10, 15 minutes can save you hours of a day, and also it gives you those overreaching goals. So in the month, what's the big thing this month? I want to get this new system, or I want to hire this new person. Or what's like having that big goal, and then daily goals that keep you on track to reach that monthly goal is so important. Like having one without the other is just super ineffective. We have these big goals and we're kind of like steering, and we're like We'll get there eventually. You're with me here, so make sure you're planning daily. Check out the links in the description below. If you've come this far, you need to check out the links in the description below. I've got an amazing masterclass just for you, how to systematize a business, how to reduce all the overwhelm and chaos, tame that chaos. Check out the descriptions, get the masterclass. It is super important to your success and your future. Appreciate you as always. And there are other videos here putting out new content daily for you. Grow your contracting business.